Yo, yo, what's poppin'? It's your boy, Mr. Locario. Yes, sir. We are here. And today, I'm going to be doing a review of my dude, Austin Dunham. Now, before I get into this, remember, this is just a critique. I know a lot of you guys, I like to talk a lot of shit on YouTube, and you think people are talking shit about you. And, you know, I don't want people to be like, yo, Austin, Mr. Locario's talking. No. I'm doing a critique, right? And I say this, I said this before. If I do a critique or I talk about anybody, that means that I have respect for you. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't want you guys, you know, getting in your feelings, but I want you to understand this is my job. I have to critique, you understand, the game. You see what I mean? I have to do this. Like, this is what I was put here to do. So, you know, we're going to get into this and we're going to make this happen and we're going to talk about this. So, the topic of Austin's video is called Why Women Flake and How to Prevent It, right? Best methods. And so there's a lot of things that he's going to say in this video. I watched the video already, but I'm going to, you know, watch it again and critique it for you guys here. But one of the things that I noticed in this video, and I noticed this in a lot of videos that guys do when it comes to, you know, talking about attracting women and all these other different things, is that there's this thing where guys feel the need to like tiptoe around women and make women comfortable. You understand? As if like there is something, you know, where women just are scared of men. They don't really like men. So we have to sort of, you know, take our time with them, treat women with kid gloves and all this other stuff. And you're going to see some of this in this video too. But that's one of the main things that stood out to me in this video. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this. I'm going to start it, stop it, and then we're going to get into this and see what's popping. All right, let's go. Let's make this happen. Here we go.
So let me know if this has ever happened to you. You were texting a woman who seemed high interest, you know, on a dating app, or maybe you approached her in person, wherever you met her from. And then she agreed to the date. You guys set up a time and place. The day the date comes, you even follow up with her. She agrees. The 20 to 30 minutes out from the date itself, she ends up flaking on you. Oh, something came up, or sorry, can we reschedule, rain check? We've all have heard it before, even myself. I've been on over 100 first dates, and I can assure you that I've been flaked on. However, through my conquest and through coaching hundreds of other men, I've learned some flake-proof formulas that you can integrate. That way you can reduce your flake rate by at least 30%. Now, before we start, you first...
Wait a second. How did Austin Dunham get flaked on? I thought, you know, it was all about looks. You know what I'm saying? I thought he was, you know, I thought this was the looks maxing God. Again, I'm just... Listen, I'm just having fun here. I'm just saying that, you know, this is an interesting point that, you know, this is why I tell you guys that it's not all about looks. Because the thing is that if you guys think that all you got to do is look max and look good, and, you know, every girl you talk to is going to show up, want to fuck with you and all that other stuff, you got another thing coming. You feel what I'm saying? So, you know, it's good for him. It's good that he is letting you know, look, I get flaked on too, because I know a lot of guys will probably watch him and be like, Austin, you don't get flaked on. You don't know what you're talking about. And you don't have to deal with, you know, what these other guys are dealing with. No, every dude gets flaked on. You understand what I'm saying? If a guy is out there dating and he's interacting with women, he's going to get flaked on, period. You feel what I'm saying? It's going to happen. But let's continue.
Have to understand why women flake in the first place. Yes, women are emotional creatures. Yes, women do things based on how they feel in that moment. But I personally have found that it really comes down to 3 reasons. Number 1 is simply going to be attraction. Quite obvious, right? She really wasn't that attracted to you. But in the moment, she perhaps felt curious, or maybe you provided some sort of experience, you know, a nice dinner date, a nice restaurant, maybe going out on a boat, whatever it may be. You offered an experience and she was like, sure. But then the day of the day came and she realized, you know, after looking at your pictures or even trying to remember how you are from a physical standpoint, she was like, I'm not really excited about this guy. Low attraction.
And that is true. So again, when you guys are dealing with women are going to have high interest, medium interest, or low interest in you if they are deciding to deal with you at all. And so what happens is that if a woman flakes on you, it's because she is not highly sexually attracted to you. It's really that simple. You understand what I'm saying? So you just got to keep that in mind. But let's continue.
Right. Now, number 2, and this is actually going to be the most common one, is comfort. You see, women are emotional creatures, like I said, but guys don't realize that a woman has to feel a sense of safety with you. At the end of the day, you are still a stranger. And this is why a lot of women prefer to, talk for weeks on end before they meet somebody, or at least talk.
All right, so now this is where it's gonna go left, because what happens is that a lot of guys believe that women, you have to like talk to them for a long time, get them, comfortable with you, get them feeling all nice and fuzzy with you first on the phone, and a lot of FaceTimes and all this other stuff for the woman to meet you. That is not true. See, when a woman is highly interested in you, right, she wants to see you, and she wants to see you as soon as she can see you, right? So what happens is that a lot of guys mistake a woman's, medium or low interest for her not being comfortable and for you having to make her comfortable. If a woman is not comfortable meeting you, she's not attracted to you like that. But let's continue.
Talk on the phone because they are scared that they are going to get murdered. They are scared that you're going to Jeffrey Dahmer them.
So what you got to understand is that if you tell a woman, hey, let's meet for coffee at 3:00 in the afternoon in a well-lit place, they're not worried about you murdering them. Now, if you tell a woman to meet you at 2 a.m, randomly off of a dating app in an alley, then maybe she might be afraid that you're going to murder her. Now, this is the interesting part. When a woman is highly sexually attracted to you, right? Her being sexually attracted to you will override whatever fear she might have about meeting you. So a lot of times you got to understand is that the fear of meeting you, if a woman has this fear of meeting you, that means that she is also not highly sexually attracted to you. Because if she was highly sexually attracted to you, the fear of meeting you would dissipate, or it wouldn't even be there. See, I always tell you guys, it's about fear and love, or you can say fear and desire, right? So when a woman desires you more than she fears you, then she's gonna fuck with you and she's gonna make shit happen. If the woman fears you more than she desires you, then she's gonna do and take the action of whatever that fear is, right? So if the woman is afraid that you're gonna do something to her, that means that she is not highly sexually attracted to you for the sexual attraction to override the fear. That's how it works. You understand what I'm saying? So when you talk to these women on the dating apps and all these other things, right? Women are meeting guys on dating apps all the time. And sometimes they'll meet multiple guys in one day. You understand what I'm saying? On certain situations, right? So women in general, they are out here dating multiple guys, and they're used to meeting guys on dating apps, right? So even though a woman may have that fear of a guy murdering her, doing something crazy in the back of her mind, right? That is more so a thing where it's just a general thing that she's thinking about, right? As far as that's a possibility that could happen at some point, at some time, because we're living in real life. But when she's interested in meeting a guy, if her interest is high, the fear is low. I really want you guys to understand this, but let's continue.
I'm not even joking. Women are terrified. So usually it's a comfort objection or a comfort flake, but they aren't going to express this to you. They're going to say something came up or whatever it may be, but the truth is they're actually just scared. They're actually just nervous. And if you stick with me through this video, I'm going to show you some ways that you can actually overcome this through my flake-proof formula strategy. All right, so number 3, outside of attraction and comfort, is going to be better option. Now, for the most part, depending on what age of woman you're dealing with, the better option is going to be very common alongside with the comfort. Better option simply means that something better happened. You had a date planned on Friday. Today it's Wednesday. Her friends hit her up saying, hey, let's go out for dinner and drinks. She looks at you and like, yeah, I would rather meet with my friends on that Friday.
Right, and that means that she is not highly sexually attracted to you. See, a lot of this stuff when it comes down to women flaking and not wanting to fuck with you, she's something else over you. Just like before we were talking about, she's scared of being murdered. She's choosing the fear over you. You understand what I'm saying? That's how it works. But let's continue.
Or, another guy comes along, offers a better experience. You offered her a walk in the park. The other guy offered her a yacht day on the boat.
So now, let's say that actually happens, where you offered her a walk in the park. The other guy offered her to go on the yacht with him, right? So what does that mean? That means that she was choosing or looking at the date versus you, which means that she's not really into you. She was just into the offer of the date, right? So she compared walking in the park to going on the yacht. Now, if she was actually interested in seeing you, if you told her, let's go for a walk in the park, and another guy came and said, let's go on the yacht, she would have not went on the yacht and she would have walked in the park with you, because she's seen you as the better option because she's actually interested in you. But let's continue.
Of course, she's going to take the option that's more fun for her. Now, here's the thing about flakes, though, you got to remember, is that even if they flake on you, they should still be offering some sort of rescheduled time frame if attraction is at play, or if attraction is high. If attraction is medium to low, usually it's going to be like, hey, sorry, can't make it, whatever. They're not going to offer any sort of reschedule. And then that's when it's going to be on you to sort of just like the message or say, okay, no problem, and leave it at that. Don't necessarily try to reschedule different dates with these women who flake on you without any reschedule option. Now that we know why women flake, let's actually get into some tactics that you can use to prevent it from happening in the first place. All right, so I'm gonna write comfort right here because these tactics are really going to tackle the degree of having comfort with her or building more comfort in that process. And the first thing we're going to do is leverage Instagram. So I built something called a dating funnel. Now the dating funnel, ideally, you're going to start from dating apps or even in person and then move her to Instagram instead of number. Now most guys might say, well, shouldn't you give her?
So now this is where I totally disagree. Totally disagree. So he's saying to get her off the dating app to Instagram because you're trying to build the comfort. See, the problem with this is that you attract a lot of attention whores. You attract a lot of time wasters. See, when you're on these apps, right? What you want to do is you want to get the woman off the app as soon as possible to meet you. You understand what I'm saying? That's what you're looking for. You're looking for the woman who is interested in meeting you as soon as possible. From the app to meeting you as soon as possible, and not a lot of back and forth within, between you meeting her and y'all meeting on the app or y'all matching on the app. Do you see what I'm saying? And the reason why you want to make sure that happens is because if you are not doing that, then what you're potentially doing is that you're inviting women to talk to you on the phone, DM you on Instagram, do a bunch of FaceTimes, all this other stuff. And when it comes time to actually meet you on the date, they may say, oh, hey, can we do a rain check? Or they may ghost you, you know what I'm saying? They won't respond to your text or call or whatever when you're trying to confirm. But let's continue.
Your number. If she's attracted to you, then she would just take the number. And though that might be the case, the reason why we're actually using Instagram is to subconsciously build a comfort. Because whenever you give an Instagram out instead of a phone number, you are now a real person to her. She can now see you in multiple different contexts. She can see your highlights. She can see who you're following. She sees that you are in fact a human being and not just digits on the screen. And what guys don't realize is that this happens all on a subconscious level. She's not actually telling herself like, oh, okay, this guy's profile is nice or he's a real.
And see, this is the thing. Now, I'll say this. If you want the woman to, see you as boyfriend material, long-term relationship type of stuff, right? Then what he's saying is actually not that bad, because like you're still going to get attention whores and all that other stuff. But what you're doing is that you're letting her into a glimpse of who you might be personally, right? Now, let me say this. If you're just trying to hook up with a woman, it's actually better for her to see you as not really like someone who she visualizes as someone she knows personally. Why? Because if you're trying to hook up, all you want the woman to actually see you as is a sex object. Follow what I'm saying here. You want a woman to see you as the type of guy who she wants to use for sex, and not see you as the type of guy that she actually wants to technically get to know. Do you understand what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind, but let's continue.
Person is sort of subconscious telling her like, hey, if I were to go out and meet this guy, I could probably feel safe and comfortable because I see that this is a normal human being. So essentially, the reason why we're leveraging Instagram as a part of our dating funnel after, you meet her on the dating app is for the sole reason to build comfort. In fact, the middle of the funnel, which is essentially Instagram, the whole purpose of the middle of the funnel is comfort alongside with date setup.
See, and this is the thing, guys, you do not need to build comfort with women, right? See, listen, I've matched with these chicks on these dating apps, right? And all I would do is, and I did a video about this maybe 2 months ago. You guys could, check it out. I think it's titled like dating app messages or something like that, right? I'll try to remember to leave the link in the comments or whatever. But anyway, so I would match with the girls and I would just basically say, hey, when are you free to get together and get a drink? They would let me know when they're free to get a drink. I'd be like, cool, let's meet here at this time. And then I'd meet them on the date and we get it cracking. I wasn't talking to them on the phone, no Instagram, nothing. You understand what I'm saying? But let's continue.
And you don't set up the date until you know that enough comfort has been built and that she feels safe enough to meet with you. That way, once again, she's not going to flake on you or she's not going to have any of these safety objections. Now, another part of the comfort phase is eagerness. So if you go for the date setup way too fast, let's say you sent her 3 messages and you're asking her to come meet you, or if you're asking for her schedule and you haven't built enough comfort, that in itself is going to sort of signal to her that you are eager and you are in scarcity, and that is repulsive and almost scary to some women, especially.
You know what's crazy? It sounds like Austin has fell for the okie doke. So this is what happens with a lot of guys, right? So what will happen with most guys is either they will talk to their female friends or they will have conversations with women that they're dating. And what a lot of women will say, and this is a tactic that they use, they will say certain things to throw you off so that it makes sense that they're wasting your time. So for example, let's say, for example, you are trying to, meet some girl off of Tinder or whatever it is like that. And you say, hey, let's meet up, tonight. And then she'll say, oh, well, I don't really know. We should get to know each other a little better. I don't really know you like that. I gotta make sure that you're safe so I can meet you. But really the reason why she's saying that is because she may not even want to meet you, or she's not really that interested in you. So she may meet you, but she's not really interested in you highly. So nothing's really going to come of it anyway. Right. So the thing is that they use the excuse of, well, I got to be comfortable first and you have to, talk to me and I got to get to know you before we meet. Right. Or you might have met a girl off a dating app and then she says, let's say I've been talking to for 3 weeks or whatever. And then she might say, oh, I'm glad we talked because usually I don't just meet guys off the app because, they might be creepy and, they might be weird. So now you continue to hear things like this, like your sisters or your female cousins or your female friends, even though I tell you guys not to have female friends, will tell you shit like this. Oh, yeah, there's so many creeps out there and these guys are scary. So then you keep hearing this and then you start sounding like what the women are saying. You sounded like a woman. You see what I'm saying? Listen, I want to rewind it just a smidgen. Just listen to how he's saying this. And this is what women say. But in reality, what women do when they're highly sexually attracted to you is they just listen to your instruction and follow your lead. But listen to what he's saying.
Of comfort, that in itself is going to sort of signal to her that you are eager and you are in scarcity, and that is repulsive and almost scary to some women, especially the way you come off. And so, yes, you want to
see. He's saying that it sounds scary to some women, and you're in scarcity if you're eager. No, if you see, this is the thing. It's not about being eager. It's about not wasting time. You understand what I'm saying? This is what I'm trying to get you guys to understand. A lot of you guys are going to waste a lot of time with women who don't fucking like you because you are scared to be direct and let the chick know what it is. But let's continue.
Set up the date fast. You want to move her through the funnel quickly, but you don't want to do so in a very eager sort of way. So some examples of being eager in terms of your date setup is constantly asking her to meet you or asking her very quickly multiple times when she's free. That's why you gotta have the awareness of the conversation. And it's gonna be individualized per the woman or per the conversation, but usually you can tell, when she's ready to be essentially moved to the next part of the funnel, whether it be middle of the funnel to bottom of the funnel or top of the funnel to middle of the funnel, right? And by the way, I help all my clients with this. And so if you are curious on how I can personally help you learn to text better, maybe see your blind spots when it comes to comfort and date setup, then click the link down below, schedule.
You know what's interesting about this? Because remember, earlier he said that he gets flaked on, right? Follow what I'm saying. So if he's doing the whole go from the dating app to moving them to the funnel of the Instagram and going back and forth and building all this comfort, what's the point of building all this comfort if chicks are gonna flake anyway? You see what I'm saying? Guys, this is what I'm trying to tell you, that time is important. And a lot of you don't understand that you're wasting time with these women. So you're doing all this shit just for her to flake. But let's continue.
A free consultation call and see how I can personally help you out with this. But the point is, we need to avoid eagerness, just simply not being needy. Hopefully we understand this by now. And the way that I go about this too is that I'll go for the date one time. Like I'll ask for the date one time. If she ignores it, goes past it, or whatever it may be, I'm not going to ask immediately after that. I'm going to let some time sort of pass back. Also, this gets into that aspect of double texting, triple texting when she hasn't responded. This is low value because, once again, it's a sign of eagerness, and eagerness essentially lowers comfort, thus makes her sort of on edge about you. Now,
so he's saying that he's going to, try to set up the date and tell her one time, which is cool. My question is, why not tell her before all of this comfort shit if the comfort shit doesn't work, if you're still getting flaked on? You understand what I'm saying? Like, so my thing is maybe he feels that if he's building comfort, the flakes are going to be less. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is that what's the point of doing all this other stuff if the outcome potentially is the flake? Which is why I tell you guys to get straight to the fucking point, because the outcome could potentially be a flake. So my thing is this: I'd rather spend 2 minutes interacting with a woman versus 2 hours. You understand what I'm saying? Because if I spend 2 minutes interacting with a woman, that 2 minutes can turn into us meeting, or the 2 minutes can turn into her flaking. Or if you're doing the 2 hours, the 2 hours could turn into you meeting, or the 2 hours could turn into you flaking. But either way, spending 2 hours is always a lose situation. Why? Because even if you do see her, you wasted 2 hours doing all this comfort building when she was going to see you anyway, because she was actually interested in seeing you. You didn't need to do the 2 hours. But if you do the 2 hours and she flakes, then you wasted 2 hours from a chick who's going to flake on you anyway. But let's continue.
Another degree that we can build comfort is actually through a FaceTime or a phone call. I think this is perhaps the highest comfort building technique that you can do. And this is primarily going to happen either middle of the funnel or bottom of the funnel. So when I say bottom of the funnel, I'm meaning that she's already agreed to the date, but you still, after talk on the phone for 5 to 10 minutes, or FaceTime for 5 to 10 minutes, just so she can get a sense of who you are even more, even though she has already agreed. Now,
so wait, so she agreed to the date, and then you're essentially having a date on the FaceTime before the dates? Because that's really what it is. If you're doing FaceTime, that's basically like a date. You guys are talking, getting to know each other, doing all this other stuff. So if she agreed to the date, you don't need to do a FaceTime before the dates. Just, she agrees to the date, we meet on Friday, cool. I will see you Friday. All you need to do is confirm Friday morning. But let's continue.
Now, a way to do this middle of the funnel is that you still want to bring her to Instagram, but you would then move her to the phone number after Instagram, and then you would schedule or just call her randomly even for like 10 minutes.
So wait, okay, so I'm starting to understand the funnel. So you go from the date, so you match with the girl on Tinder. You tell her to hit you up on Instagram. You guys are, I guess, going back and forth on Instagram. Then you do a FaceTime and a call. So she agrees to the date on Instagram. Then you do a FaceTime or a call for 10 minutes before the date. I'm just okay. I got all that right. I think so. Let's go.
Hopefully she answers. And then you actually set up the date on the call itself. And so through...
Oh, you set up the date on the call. So you don't even set the date up on the Instagram? I'm confused. So you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. So now, so basically you go from Tinder to Instagram so she can see your life and all that. Then you do a FaceTime call or a phone call. Then you make the date. Let's continue.
The conversation is essentially like you're running a test first date. You know, you're having some quick conversation, you're having small talk. She sees your vibe, she sees your character, she gets a hint of your personality.
Right. You see, it's funny. I forgot he even said that. Because you see, I just said it's like going on a date already. So he's like, it's a test first date. But why you need to test the first date? Like, why? Just go on the date. Well, let's continue.
And for that reason, she's going to be way, way more agreeable and less likely to deflate because subconsciously we are building comfort through the essential FaceTime call. Now, one thing I want to mention here is that you want to make sure that you...
So now I'm getting it. So he's assuming, or he feels, the woman is less likely to flake if you go through this stuff because you're building the comfort. But my question is if you're doing all this and she still flakes, what's the point of doing all this? But I think he thinks that it's less likely that she's going to flake if you do all this, which is not true. Why? Because a woman will go through all these things because, ladies and gentlemen, she is an attention whore. You understand? So I think you guys forget that women love attention. So they'll go through this whole process through the motions with you, you know, follow you on Instagram, DM you back and forth, do the FaceTime, all that other stuff, and still flake. Let's continue.
In the call first. So we're going to write that down, in the call first, and no more than 10 minutes. Right? Because if we don't end the call first, and if we go above 10 minutes and just yapping our asses off, we're now moving into the eager / needy / scarcity, low value sort of behavior.
That's ironic because all this stuff about get her on Instagram and you know, like get her on the FaceTime and do the 10 minutes, that seems very eager to me. What's less eager is match with the girl, set the date, go on the date. But let's continue.
All right, so those were essentially for building comfort, which is going to help out a ton. Now let's get into some actual scheduling strategies. And I'm going to write 1 here, 2 here, and this is going to be the 3-day rule. So the funny thing about dating and sales is that they're almost identical. So if you ever worked a sales job or if you ever done anything in terms of like prospecting and leads, you'll find the parallels between dating and sales are almost identical. And so the thing about sales is that if you schedule some sort of call with somebody, if you go above 4, 5, 6 days out, they're like 50 to 60% more likely to not show up to that call. The reason is because past 3 days, so much can happen. Other opportunities, a loss of interest, they forget about it. So much can happen. And so essentially what we need to do is follow the 3-day rule, meaning that when you schedule the date in the top or middle of the funnel, you're not going any more than 3 days out. And what's also very important for you to know is your actual dating schedule or when the days you are free. So for example, if you know that you are free on Tuesdays to set first dates, then essentially what you would try to do is schedule your dates Saturday through Monday. Like those are your date setting days. If it's Tuesday, like same day schedules, it can happen if she's really, really high interest, but for the most part, it's not going to happen.
So what he's saying is that you want to schedule the dates within 3 days to make it less likely she's going to flake, right? And again, a lot of these things that, and not only him, but a lot of these things that the guys talk about is they're trying to do a lot to try to, or they think they're keeping the girl's interest so that it's less likely she will flake and more likely she will stay interested. What you have to understand is that, you know, it's not really the length of time. It's more so her interest level, period. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like there's times where I remember there was this one chick, this one cute joint that I used to hook up with. But anyway, so we matched on Tinder and she was going out of the country for, I think, like 3 weeks. So we set the date for 3 weeks from the time we were like, you know, texting back and forth to set it up. And so as the time was approaching, right, she had hit me up and was like, hey, I'm coming back to New York. And I said, cool. And we got together and made it happen. And that was a 3-week in between time. And I didn't build no comfort. I didn't text her, WhatsApp her, nothing. You understand what I'm saying? And she came back and she wanted to make it happen again, but high interest. See, when you guys are dealing with women who have medium or low interest, this is the type of tactics that you guys will try to do because you are trying to keep her interested because you believe she's not interested, or she may not be interested, which is why, you know, she is flaking and doing all that other goofy ass shit. But let's continue.
If you schedule a date on Tuesday, but your availability isn't until Sunday, then guess what? Same thing's gonna happen. She's way more likely to flake. And so you just have to be very, very conscious of whenever you're scheduling dates.
Yeah, she's likely to flake if she's not feeling you. Let's continue.
When you're actually free. This is also when it gets to the date setup part, is that we don't ask her when she's free. We let her know when we're free, and then she tries to fit within our own personal schedule. That's the way it works. And
so that's interesting because I always hear this, like people ask me that question all the time. They say, hey, Locario, should you say to her, should you ask her when she's free, or should you tell her when you're free? Right now, you can do either one. I personally always ask the woman when she's free. I'm gonna tell you why. This is a little thing I do. All right, I'm gonna give y'all some free game real quick. So this is what I do. So if I'm talking to women, plural, on the app, right? I'm matching with multiple women, right? So what I do is that I ask the woman when they're free because I'm not necessarily committing to a specific day because I'm talking to multiple women and they all kind of have to sort of like rush to get back to me so I could fit them in somewhere. So what I mean by that is that, so like if I'm talking to, let's say I'm talking to girl A, B, C, D, and E. So it's 5 girls, A, B, C, D, and E, right? So the reason why I won't tell girl A, hey, girl A, what's up? I'm free Friday. You should meet me at the bar, the Main Street bar, right? It's because now I've sent girl A a message in a sense that I'm trying to make something happen with her specifically on Friday at 7 o'clock or whatever it is like that, right? But then I got girl B, C, D, and E, right? So what I do is, so instead of just having girl A, sending her that question or telling her, hey, look, I'm free Friday, let's meet up. I say to all girls, A, B, C, and D, and E, I say, hey, when are you free? Because if I say to girl A, let's meet Friday, and then she gets back to me, you feel what I'm saying? About Friday, let's say she gets back to me within the next day, but now girl B tells me she's free Friday. You understand what I'm saying? And then now I'm like, shit, I already told girl A, let's meet Friday. So now I got to deal with, oh, is girl A going to actually respond back? And girl B says she's free Friday. So instead of doing all that bullshit, I just ask all of them when they're free. Now they'll tell me when they're free. And when their free matches up when I'm free, then I schedule them all in. What I don't want to do is I don't want to schedule someone specifically first and then be like, damn, well, girl B is kind of hotter than girl A. I'm more interested in seeing girl B than girl A. And then I don't want to sit there and be a motherfucker and flake on girl A. But no. I set them all up so I can see all of them. You understand what I'm saying? Also, what happens is this, is when you are telling a girl what day it is, in a lot of cases, sometimes that gives a lot of back and forth that is unnecessary. What do I mean by that? So let's say I'm talking to girl A and I say, hey, girl A, what's up? I'm free Friday. We should get together to get a drink at the Main Street bar Friday. And then she says, oh, I'm actually not free Friday. Right? So now, the thing is that let's say I'm also free, Sunday. So now I got to hit her back and say, oh, well, also I'm free Sunday. Let's meet up Sunday instead. And she says, oh, actually, I got to work Sunday too. So now we're doing all this back and forth shit. So to eliminate all that back and forth shit, I just say, hey, when are you free? You understand what I'm saying? And then the women let me know when they're free. And then if they're free around the times that I'm free, or I can, see them at a certain time based on what all of them are saying, I just fit them all in. So I can see all the women, all 5 of the women in a week. You see what I'm saying? Instead of just saying, hey, I'm free this day, and then locking in that day with that particular woman specifically. You understand what I'm saying? Because also, if I ask the girls, when are you free? And let's say girl A and girl B said they both free Friday, then cool. I'll see girl A at 6 and I'll see girl B at 9 if I'm free that Friday night. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's just, just a little something to think about, but let's continue.
Like I said, there's a lot of parallels between dating and sales, and this 3-date rule is pretty much essential for anything in the sales industry, because people know that anything more than 3 days, it just gets wildly unpredictable. Now, of course, in some cases, rare cases, once again, a high attraction, you can break this rule. But for the most part, we want to keep it very, very simple, and this is just an easy.
And see, he said it right there. If the woman has high interest in you, that don't mean nothing. This is what I'm saying. Like, guys, why do you think I tell you guys to deal with women who have high interest? Because when you deal with women who have high interest, you ain't got to worry about none of this shit. Let's continue.
Easy thing to remember. All right, flake proof formula number 3, and this is the double book, right? What do they say? 2 is better than 1, and 1 is too close to none. And so if you want to prevent flaking, essentially book 2 women on the same day at the same time. Because guess what?
Book 2 women on the same day at the same time? No! Listen, I understand booking 2 women on the same day. I'm with all that. Well, why at the same time? But let's see what he says.
There's a high likelihood that one of them probably is going to flake, but you still have another option. As simple as that. And some guys might say, isn't this unethical? Absolutely not. You're working in the benefit of yourself. You are doing what's in the best interest of you and your time. Because guess what? I promise you, and if you date enough women, you know this to be a fact, women do not respect your time whatsoever. And they have no shame about it. And so we're operating and trying to leverage ourselves to be in the best position possible to achieve the dating goals that we want. And
So, see, the thing is this, right? If you respect your time, you also respect other people's time. Because then what happens is if a person doesn't respect your time, right, and you don't respect other people's time, then you can't feel some type of way about somebody disrespecting your time if you're disrespecting somebody else's time. I totally disagree with that shit of double booking on the same time. Right? But let's continue. Let's see what else he's saying.
Sometimes you're going to have to double book. Now, in terms of who you should pick, yes, you should pick the one that you like the most, but also you should flake on the one who probably has the highest interest.
Flake on the one who has the highest interest? So, okay, so wait, so he's saying a flake, but then he's saying a flake on the one who has the highest interest. Let's see why.
And the reason is, if she has higher interest, she's more likely to actually be okay with rescheduling and seeing you because the attraction is that high.
Let me tell you guys something about high interest. High interest, right, has to be maintained. So just because a woman has high interest in you doesn't mean her interest is going to stay high. So what will happen is that you might be dealing with a woman who does have high interest in you, and then you flake on her, and then her interest is like, fuck this motherfucker. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's what could happen. But the funny part is that I find it interesting he's saying flake on the one who has the higher interest, or you perceive she has a higher interest in you, and then get with the one whose interest isn't as high. Why? It doesn't make any sense, but let's continue.
Now, I used to say, and I still believe this to some degree, is that we want to value compliance over attraction. But the thing about, not flaking on a girl who has really high compliance or who has really high attraction is that the other one is probably going to be illogically, if you flake on her, she'll probably never see you. And so I found.
So he's saying that if you flake on the one who doesn't really have the high interest like the other one does, then that one is most likely never going to see you again. But then why would you fuck with her in the first place when you could just fuck with the one who you assume or you feel has higher interest or who's showing higher interest? That's like backwards to me. Like, what do you like? I have girl A and girl B. Girl A is obviously showing me that she's really, 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 really feeling me. Girl B is kind of like medium. So I'm gonna go and set the date with girl A and girl B at the same time. And then if both of them agree to come, I'm gonna flake on girl A who has the high interest to deal with girl B who's iffy? What? And if you think that the girl who has high interest is gonna stay there and fuck with you because she has high interest and she's cool with you flaking, but this is the deeper part about it. The deeper part about it, because he said he was talking about compliance versus attraction. So he's assuming that the one who has high interest is complying and the one who doesn't have as much high interest is more attractive than her. Right? So what is that saying? That's also saying that the women who may have high interest in him or the women who may have high interest in you aren't the most attractive ones. See, I'm listening to everything that's being said, but let's continue.
That if we actually flake on the girl who has the highest interest, and then maybe see the one who might have a little bit lower interest, right? And then reschedule the other one, this can put you in a position in which you're setting multiple dates up. And it's fairly easy. Now, the thing about double booking is that obviously it requires volume.
See, and this is the thing. If you're going to double book the chicks on the same, you do the same day at different times so that you can, just like I said earlier, if I'm talking to girl A, B, C, D, and E, all 5 of the girls, right? Let's say girl A and B is free Friday. Like I'm free all weekend, right? Girl A and B is free Friday. Girl C and D is free Saturday, and girl E is free Sunday. So I'm going to see girl A and B on Friday. I'm going to see girl A at 6 and girl B at 9. And then on Saturday, I'm going to see girl C at 6 and girl D at 9. And then I'll see girl E. So now I effectively saw all 5 girls this weekend. So that's increasing the number of women that I was able to go on a date with and interact with, which increases the number of women that could be in my rotation. Versus you booking 2 women on the same day, you flaking on one of them, same day and same time, you flaking on one of them, and then you just assuming she's gonna be cool with that, and then come back to you after the fact, right? Whereas in some cases, what will happen is because you flaked, you never hear from her again, even if she had that high interest, because her interest could dissipate by the fact that you're fucking flaking. Do you see what I'm saying? So now you had 2 chicks and now you're down to 1, or maybe none, because the one you actually went out with, like you said, like you were saying, was the girl who didn't have that much high interest in you. So now you went out with that girl who didn't have that much high interest in you because you assumed or thought that, she was the one who was the medium interest girl, and she don't want to fuck with you. So now you fucked up girl A and girl B. You fucked up both chicks. But let's continue.
And so what I always say is that you need to be having at least 20 top of funnel conversations in order to effectively set 2 to 3 dates per week based on statistics. And so if you don't have volume, this is not going to be a reality for you. Now, how do you get volume? Volume is simply matches and numbers. Top of funnel, as I mentioned before, attractive pictures through our attractive style, through leveraging our presentation and just effectively messaging. Like, this is how you get the volume. And so if you are a guy in which this probably sounds impossible for you, or you definitely want help with all of this, and once again, click the link down below. I would love to personally help you out. We've helped plenty of professional guys to master their online dating life, going from 1 to 2 matches a week to getting at least 25 to 50 matches a week. Through there, scheduling up multiple dates through the use of online dating while also fixing their Instagram, all right?
So when he's talking about volume, that part is true, because volume is everything. This is why I tell you guys, talk to 25 women a day, be consistent and make that happen. So this is essentially, this is the end of the video. But what I want to say is guys, stop wasting time on these dating apps by trying to build comfort, go back and forth with these girls, spending all this extra time doing all this other crazy stuff, because women are going to flake at the end of the day. Right? And the thing is that trying to build the comfort and doing all this other stuff is not going to make it less likely she's going to flake. It's just going to make it more likely you're going to attract attention whores. You see what I'm saying? But guys, listen, if you guys need any help, hit me up at shoplocario.com and badboymembership.com. All right, so that's pretty much it. I'm out of here, guys. And remember, the truth is inside you. Peace. I'm gone. I'm out. Listen, I know you're tired of going out, spending time, money, and energy on women only to find out that these women don't want to have sex with you. I know you're tired of getting into relationships with women, and it's a lot of drama and disrespect. Right now, this type of stuff happens because you are not vetting women. And this is why you should go to shoplocario.com to get my program, Master the Vetting Process. All right, because this is going to teach you how to vet women correctly. And right now it's at a discounted price up until June 30th. So you can get it at a low price up until June 30th. After that, the price is going to go up. So make sure you go to shoplocario.com right now and step up your game.